When Gorilla Grodd's war on the Justice League ends up corrupting the time stream itself, it will be up to two completely different generations of heroes. To help even the odds, what'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Batman Superman World's Finest issue number 39, the continuation of the We Are Yesterday crossover, and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, a young time-displaced version of Dick Grayson Robin ended up getting flung into the future after his battle with the Legion of Doom. This ends up leading to all sorts of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey shenanigans as Batman is both overjoyed to see Dick, feeling though he hasn't seen him in decades, but on the other hand has a whole lifetime of memories wherein Dick never left at all. Yep, it's one of those stories, everybody. What I wasn't expecting though was for this issue to be so damn funny. Superman rolls up a few seconds later and is all like, geez, Bruce, really? Another Robin? How many does that make now? Only for time-displaced Dick to go, wait, there's more than just me as Robin? And that's even before Robin ends up meeting his older self in the form of Nightwing, and his big takeaway is, geez, I really need a haircut. Robin from the past does everything he can to get the heroes of the future up to speed on what became of the Legion of Doom in his time, only this ends up causing massive chronal quakes, wherein they can all ever so briefly see the villains and events of dozens of different crises all just ramming into each other like a car pileup. It seems that time-traveling Dick's appearance right here, right now, is corrupting the very time stream, meaning that not only do the good guys need to defeat Grodd and the Legion of Doom, but they also need to fix what they broke, which is unfortunately getting harder and harder by the minute as Dick and Dick just have to dap each other up. You know, as if they've never seen a movie about time travel before or how disastrous it is to touch your counterpart. And before you can say chronal whiplash, it's at that very moment the past and present versions of Batman, Superman, and Dick Grayson end up trading places with each other in history. Obviously, for the past versions of our heroic Trinity, the future takes some getting used to, like, for one, Lois Lane knows Superman's secret identity is a superhero herself, assumes Dick as Robin must be Tim before roasting all their retro-inspired costumes, and then really ends up dropping a major bomb telling Superman to get in touch with his son John and John's boyfriend. Needless to say, that's a hell of a lot to take in during one sitting, but thankfully they don't have to sit and marinate on all of that long because the Legion of Doom from the past is making trouble in the present. It seems that Gorilla Grodd directed young Sinestro and young Scarecrow to make trouble at the Metropolis Museum. Obviously they make sense as a team-up as they both deal in fear. Scarecrow ends up taking Superman out of the fight almost right away by using a brand new fear gas that has been spliced with kryptonite, meaning that even he freaks out and sees his worst fear. Sinestro, on the other hand, is actually a little disappointed that he only has to deal with the non-powered duo of Batman and Robin. He was promised that he would get to hunt super people today. And unfortunately for time-displaced Batman and Robin, they're not exactly experts on fighting this level of lantern chicanery at this point in their history. Meanwhile, back in the past, the trio of Batman, Superman, and Nightwing make their way to the Batcave in hopes of finding some way to get themselves back to the future. This is obviously going to be an uphill battle because Gorilla Grodd and the Legion already managed to steal and or disrupt pretty much all time travel devices from this era. It's then something very unexpected happens as Batman and Nightwing end up coming face to face with Alfred, who is still very much alive in this time period. Both men are completely overjoyed to see the butler, almost to the point of tears, Nightwing even hugging Alfred, even though it's been proven that you probably shouldn't do that if you want to protect the time stream. It's actually Superman, of all people, who actually has to end up stepping in this very important situation and telling Alfred that they have all of this under control, knowing full well that any longer they sit and talk to him, the more likely that the butler would probably catch on to the fact that he's dead in the future, in doing so changing the past in ways that they couldn't possibly anticipate. It's a brief scene, but god is it effective in reminding me just how much I miss Alfred in the main timeline. Now the Batcave might have been a bust, but Superman has another idea. In fact, it came to him the second they started talking about the Legion of Doom, because hey, there's another time-traveling Legion he knows quite well, the Legion of Superheroes. And how fitting is it that Wade and other Superman writers only just recently returned to Superman's history the fact that he traveled to the future and trained with the Legion, and they even left him a time ship, meaning that the heroes can use it to skirt the regular rules of time travel and get themselves back to the present where they can reinforce the other versions of themselves. themselves. And honestly, the younger versions of World's Finest could probably use all the help they could get at this moment. You see, Superman is only able to break the Scarecrow's control over himself when, get this, Clark feels that Crane overplayed his hand by giving him a horrifying vision of his own death. But I'm Superman, I can never die, right? Ooh, who wants to tell him? It's right around here too, the past and present storylines all end up intersecting as Batman, Superman, and Nightwing from the future end up ramming their Legion time ship through a chronal barrier that Gorilla Grodd put in place, while meanwhile, in the present, the past versions of Batman, Superman, and Robin end up rushing Sinestro only to get blasted with one of Grodd's special weapons. This probably would have ended up killing them under any other circumstances, but again, and say it with me now, because of wibbly-wobbly timey-wiminess, they don't actually die, they just end up finding themselves completely lost in time and space on some strange, otherworldly-looking place. And so that was Batman, Superman, World's Finest, issue number 39, everybody, and you know what, I feel like on maybe any other day this story might have annoyed me, in the way that a lot of different time travel stories do with their paradoxes and what have you, but I really gotta hand it to Mark Waid and company on this one, because mainly they just end up having a lot of fun with the concept. I mean, they don't treat the thing as a whole entire joke, but it's certainly a light-hearted approach to the material. Waid is certainly wringing out as much material as he can, having the older Batman and Superman team that he's been writing over in World's Finest come to modern-day DC, which, you guessed it, Mark Waid has actually had a major hand in shaping himself. It's just a lot of fun, like this whole crossover has been a lot of fun, a wonderful, almost Silver Agian send up to the material, and actually kind of a nice palate cleanser too, considering how dark and dour the last installment of the Justice League Unlimited series was. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one another very positive 8 out of 10, and I'm interested to see how the rest of the series will end up shaking out as we now enter the back half of it. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.